Chappelle Show. Chappelle Show. So we're gonna wait for everybody to get on here, and then we're gonna rock and roll. Hey, but BA came right on. I don't know. Oh, there you go. What's up, BA? You off today? Can you hear?
Yeah.
You all right?
All right. Yeah, I'm.
What- We're gonna kick you off because your screen is stuck. If you can hear me, you might want to log off and log back on. Your screen is frozen. Yeah. All right, he got a bad connection. What's up, gang? What's up, everybody? Everybody. I said Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday between 10 and 10:30. I will be on live to come and give you what you want, give you what you need. Thank you all for joining. Got people joining slowly. I know it's a Friday. Some of you all have to work. If you work in security, you're probably working in a bar or nightclub, some type of an event. It's a weekend, so I'm not going to keep and hold you. Again, if you guys watch my content on a regular basis, I want you to help me help you. I want to be available when you're available. So whenever you feels like it's the best time for me to come online and give y'all this game 101, then put that in there. Put it in the comments. I prefer that you come on at seven o'clock to 8 o'clock. Then I'll come on at 7 to 8 o'clock. If you prefer, I come on at 9 to 10, and I'll come on at 9 to 10. If you like me to stay between 10 and 11, I'll stay between 10 and I'll come on at 10 and 11. But also, what days? I think Mondays. Bungie, hold on one second. I'm gonna get you back in a second. I want to get what days work for you? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Good. Should it be Mondays? I mean, I could do every day, but we are talking about security, so there are things going on all the time that we could talk about. But I want to make sure that the information is relevant. The one we talk about the daily topics, what's going on in the world, be it as Bungie, he keep trying to come in. I'm gonna let him come in a little bit later. If you watch me, Bunch, um, shoot me a text. I can see the text on my computer and I can read it then. But want to get a few minutes to get a couple of words in with the crew, and then your connection was messed up, so I wasn't able to. Your screen was frozen and you barely could hear what you were saying. So, saying if you guys tell me what days work for you, what hours work for you, and then I'll frame my schedule around you all the best I can. What I like to do is come on. I think we're gonna call Fridays Freestyle Fridays, even though there's a lot of things to talk about. Some of the stuff is going, it's kind of like beating a dead horse, but it won't go away. Like the Epstein files won't go away. The Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell conspiracy with that's going to be here to stay. But then every day our president is doing something a little bit more crazy, and he's you know uh, forcing. I don't know. I mean, he's doing something crazy. So now people are in DC are upset about the National Guard being there, about these federal authorities being there, about the federal takeover of the DC Police Department. Now and again, a lot of these cities are crime ridden. A lot of these cities are crime ridden, and it's way past due for somebody to do something. We can't. It can't be the heavy arm of the law, or heavy fist, the iron fist of the law. There still has to be some systemic actions in. Okay, there we go. Somebody's texting me. It has to be some systemic actions in what the law enforcement is doing. You just can't arrest away the problem because you take away uh, the nine criminals, 10 more come. Give me 1 second. Let me read this text message. Okay, yeah. But so Bungie was Bungie. I know he's probably still watching. He said he was having problems getting back on. So that's cool, Bunch. I saw that you what the problem was is that your screen was frozen, and that we could barely hear you. So you was going in and out. So you had a poor internet connection. So Bungie Adams is one of my top guys, and if he was on here right now, I was sure that he moderates the screen for us. But Bunny, he's one of my top guys, and I just texted him a few, probably about an hour ago. I didn't even tell him I was going online, but a client finally emailed me, and we have a job starting next week in Washington D.C. And so he's like I said, I got a hit list of people that I call. So Bungie, Candace, Gibson, Kalante Payne, Dwight, Rayford. Those are this is some of the people that I call right off. That's the top five. I call them right off the break, and we get to work. So I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna start getting these guys on now. That's coming from across country because we got a less than a weekend. Those plane tickets can be quite costly. And for this particular job, the client's paying for the hotels, but they won't pay for. I didn't say they won't. I never asked them, but they normally don't pay for the plane tickets. So um, trying to get my man out, and we're gonna go to work in DC and make some money for about a week. With one of our high profile clients, and I was always laugh about this particular client because I don't know, it may have even been Bungie. He says, or Kalante, one of them says, man, I was standing there in the hall, man. These guys were talking, we 250, $500 million deals, making it right in front of their face. So people don't believe that kind of money moves around, but that kind of money moves around, and kind of brings me back to today's topic about the truth about the executive protection and the bodyguard industry, about being a executive protection agent, being a close protection agent. No matter, I mean, depends on where you're from, and in the East, in London, the UK, Middle East, they say close protection. Over here in the Western world, the United States, we say executive protection. And then you have the classism of executive protection. You have the people who are security guards who call themselves bodyguards and executive protection. You have the people who are bodyguards who call themselves executive protection. And then you have the guys who are on the executive protection level. So one of the reasons that I come on and talk about this profession is because nobody does, right? It's unregulated. You got a lot of people saying, hey, what I had a guy today. We had a nice debate, and he says, "Well, somebody told me that your class was what do you call it, accredited, and I found out that your class wasn't accredited." This is what I love when people say that to me. So my next question, when somebody says your class accredited, I bat it back over the fence and I say, accredited by who? See, because the word accredited alone does nothing for you. As people can say, yeah, my course is accredited. If nobody knows who's is accredited by, then what's the use of having your course accredited? And this is what I find out that's happened a lot. A lot of people will say, yeah, they're accredited. If a course was accredited, that course would cost 15, $20,000 at a minimum, which most people can't afford. And that course would probably run for about 3 weeks, and which most people can't afford to take off of work for 3 weeks because they got to go to a job, and they can't take off of work and then spend $20,000, pay for the hotels, the flight accommodations, and all of that good stuff, and still have a job. So this is where an accredited course comes from. So people think they get something for nothing. An accredited course, but it goes back to accredited by who? Because the word accredited alone doesn't bring value. The person, or the entity that's doing the accreditation is what's bringing the value. So if somebody says my course is accredited, then you should say my course is accredited by XYZ. So then that comes with a letter of accreditation, a certificate of accreditation with a number on that thing, and who accredited you. So you could go, so people could say, hey, see, I was accredited. I went to MVP School of Executive Protection, and they're accredited by the Board of Education. They're accredited by the Secretary of Defense. They're accredited by the State Department. But there's no governing body that accredits anything. So there are people who are saying that their courses are accredited, but in fact, what their courses are is just approved by the state, and that's certification, not accreditation. The state is saying, "Hey, listen, your course has met the standards for the state of Virginia, and it's in line with we want our people getting the PPS license to know." That's what that means. That's certification. That's not accreditation. If I put Virginia's curriculum up against MVP's curriculum, we run circles around Texas, Maryland. Maryland doesn't even have a course. Texas, um, uh, uh, Florida, Virginia. It's a skeleton fucking. It's just a skeleton outline of saying, "Oh, this is executive protection," but the executive protection runs so much deeper than that. And these courses that the state are saying that or the curriculum that the state has students taking is so that you can meet their qualifications, and their qualifications is not that you're a better protector. Their qualifications is say, okay, yeah, we can charge you to have a license in our state. So you got to pay for your background checks, your fingerprints. You got to go and pay the person who you take the course with. Then you got to pay for whatever licenses that come with that. So this is a benefit to the state. And one of the other things that I talk about is when you take these courses, say you get a license in the state of Virginia or California or wherever you get your security agency license, PPS license, or security guard license, whatever the license is that authorizes you to be an executive protection agent or security guard for that matter. That license is only good in that state. It doesn't have reciprocity. So if you live in Virginia and you got a license certification or whatever to do executive protection in Virginia, you can't even go over into the state of Maryland and do executive protection. You can't go into Washington, D.C. and do executive protection by law. Now, does everybody do it? Yes, because executive protection, bodyguard work, close protection work is portable. You may be, I'm sitting home. I could be sitting home tonight and my phone could ring, or I get an email before midnight and somebody says, I need you in California by 1 p.m. tomorrow. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, book the ticket, right? But I'm not certified to do executive protection in the state of California. And if that person says, okay, cool, we're going to fly you on your jet, we're going to get you to California, and then I have this lined up. I'm going to Houston on this day. I need to go to Memphis on this day, and I need to go to New York on that day. Your Virginia license, your Maryland license, your North Carolina license is a worthless piece of paper in those states. So when I say these states are telling you to take this stuff so that you can, one, they should have some kind of standard in their state, what they expect. But what I'm telling you, their standards are below standards of what an executive protection agent should be, or what an executive protection curriculum should be. So you're just meeting their standards. And once you go outside in DC, I grew up in DC and in Maryland, right? So there's a street called Southern Avenue. Southern Avenue is on one side of Southern Avenue is Maryland, and this is literal. I'm talking about one street, about this wide. I mean, figuratively, this wide. This side over here is Maryland, but when you step out, not even across the street, when you step into the middle of the street in half, one side of the street is Maryland, the other side is DC. And both the DC Police Department and Maryland police departments patrol those borders. But and I say that to say is that you can literally be doing executive protection, and Virginia is the same thing. You cross the bridge and you right in, I mean, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. You go from Virginia to Washington, D.C. Same thing in Virginia. You can go Virginia to Maryland in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But if you were doing executive protection, as soon as you cross those lines with your license, it means absolutely nothing. And if a cop pulls you over and questions you and stops you, and you're working with the person and you're doing executive protection, you could be in trouble. You literally could be in trouble. So there's no reciprocity. So when people start talking about these licenses, you should have a license. You should have a license. And they start talking about this accreditation. All of this stuff is BS. This stuff is to get people put money in people's pocket. People who are saying their courses are accredited are lying. If they do, if somebody tells you their course is accredited, I beg you to ask them by who. Ask them for their accreditation certificate or letter. Don't let them give you no BS number. Tell them by who, because if it was so well known that anybody should be able to find it. You can go. Y'all can push the pause button. You can pull out your laptop and you can Google right now. Look for who. Just Google who accredits executive protection schools. I guarantee you won't find anything. You're gonna find something that says ASIS. ASIS is not a governing body. But see, the body the person who accredited has to have some authority over you. ASIS is a nonprofit entity. They have no authority. They can say these are the standards. This is what we wish that every executive protection agent would have, or executive protection training school would have. But they have no authority to say that you have to follow these procedures. You understand what I'm saying? So I mean, this is when you're looking for school. So I always tell people, like, there's a lot of puff and fluff in these schools. When you're looking for executive protection school, don't sell me the puff and stuff, fluff, because you watch these videos. Even if you watch some of my stuff, you're watching the fast action stuff, right? Because stuff that moves Instagram, that's why they call it Instagram, because it's instant satisfaction. When you see stuff move, it's exciting. You say, "Oh shit, I want to spend my money. I want to go buy that coat, or I want to buy that car because it's a cool looking car, or I want to go to that school because they shooting and they fighting inside of the car, or they're shooting around the car and they're shooting out the windows of the car." When most executive protection details are unarmed. Now we're getting to a place in America and around the world where more executive protection details are going to be armed. But 98% of all private executive protection details in the United States of America are unarmed. But yet and still, you got people who are doing executive protection training courses who are out with a suit and tie with the AR rifle or M4, and they're walking around with a suit and tie with this stuff on, and they're saying this is executive protection. Now I work in, I mean, was raised in Washington D.C. I was a police officer in Washington D.C., and most of my work is done between New York City and Washington D.C. And in Washington D.C., between the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill. And I can tell you, between all of those places, I've never seen a person walking around with a suit and any type of long gun. Never, not in my entire life. I've served as the director of security for the 2021 inauguration. Before that, as a policeman, I've served on 5 different inaugurations. Never have I once seen a person walking around with a suit and an AR rifle. Never. And not in addition to that, I don't know, you guys know what a POTUS is, but that's the president of the United States, POTUS. And in Washington, D.C., we had POTUS movements every day. The police department is responsible for, and when I say movement, that's the motorcade. The police department, special operations division, and then they call it district levels to come in and support with these motorcades, because the motorcades are rather large. I've never seen anybody with a suit and an AR rifle, but you have people who have training schools who are charging people a lot of money, and they're running around. That's their advertisement: a suit and an AR rifle. And to me, that's insane. That doesn't happen. And this is the part. This is the part where you'll find. This is the part where I find a problem at it. And people are going to chase this shiny rabbit down the hole. Let me go to that executive protection school, thinking that when they graduate, they're going to get a job doing something like that. Trust me. Then one, and I'd say this for security guards, and I'll definitely say it for executive protection agents and bodyguards. There's nobody allowing you to do that. Matter of fact, you have when people are carrying these AR rifles around on in uniform at these nightclubs and stuff like that. I did see a shooting a couple of weeks ago. The guard was masterful. Armed guard, some guys ran up in with some pistols and they shot a security guard and shot at some other people. But there was another security guard who popped his trunk. They say, well, pop the trunk, hit the deck, but he popped his trunk and he had an AR and then he came out and he hit that boy with that AR and it turned his light switch off. Nonetheless, I can tell you right now, if any of you guys work in security, tell me when you go to get your armed license, do they have a qualification for you to carry an M4, an AR, a SCAR, a blackout? I mean, what do they have certification or qualification or license for you to do that? Well, if they approved it, I don't know the answer is no. You don't have to say no, but the answer is no. If they did have that certification, it would be on your license. Am I right? There would be some kind of test or qualification when you go to the gun range. If they got a qualification for the pistol, by certain they'll have a qualification for a long gun. Right. So right, Ace Development said there is no. Why is that? Why is it a qualification for a pistol, but no qualification for a long gun? Now, shotgun, there's not even any rules in the book that's about it. But here's even more importantly: if you own a security company, they don't even want to give. I'm talking about insurance companies. They give security companies a hard time for just being an armed security company or having armed guards. Period. We just talk about pistols, revolvers, semi-automatics, Glocks, whatever you guys are carrying. They give people a hard time to get insurance for that. Now, you want to see them drop you like a hot potato? Tell them that you're going to be carrying a rifle. Tell them you're going to be carrying a rifle on your duty assignment. And even furthermore, do this. Shoot somebody with a rifle and see what happens to you. You might be applauded a hero in the news. The police department may not even give you a pass. They may not charge you with murder if you save lives, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, if the police department or the state regulates your license and you have a long gun, they're going to terminate your license. They're going to terminate your license, and your insurance company is going to drop you like a hot potato because they didn't. If they didn't insure you for that. And when you apply for your insurance, you by no means, and anybody who was in disagreement, tell me you went and applied for insurance and told them that you was going to be carrying a long gun, and they actually gave you insurance policy. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Ace Development said, do guards or security teams carry rifles on private property like at clients' home? Well, I've never really seen it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I might hurt some people's feelings, but only people I see carrying long guns are my black brothers, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Carrying long guns is like a badge of honor, some kind of tough guy stuff. When I was a law enforcement officer, we had rack in the car for a shotgun. We had racks for rifles if you were qualified to carry a rifle. And when I was young, I was Sarge, give me this, give me that, and I put it in the car. And you want to jump out. I used to love to jump out in a crowd and rack the rifle, rack it because people are like, oh, they hear that rack and they get to moving. But then this is a different breed of people, and I started to notice the older that I got that a lot of people weren't moving. They weren't scared of the gun. So now the gun was not an asset to me. It was a liability for me because if I got to fight, I can't put the gun down. And if you want to fight me, I can't shoot you for wanting to fight me. Even if you grab that gun and try to take it from me, I can't shoot you for you trying to take the gun from me. Y'all got to understand this. I put myself in that position. So I should have put that gun in the car. I'd rather have a handgun and a hand fight anyway, right? It just means more. If you get into a club scene or you got to shoot, that rifle round isn't like They don't have hollow point rifle rounds where you shoot somebody in the shell spreads, and like the hollow point, it spreads because the hollow point is designed to spread to cause more damage. The rifle rounds go right, penetrate right through you and hit other people. That's a liability. It's dangerous. And the security guards who carry them, trust me, these guys aren't going out training with this stuff on a regular basis. This is showboating. This is what this is, and that's not a good look. But I'm just telling you, I mean, talking about security guards, what I'm just saying, in the executive protection world, you may have somebody with depending on how high the threat is on a client, you may have someone with some rifles in the trunk, but they're certainly not popping out of the car walking around with the stuff like I see some of these people on their social media posting their advertisement for their executive protection courses. I'm gonna be honest with you. A good executive protection agent doesn't even need a gun, because what we see are people walking around with people. Somebody's in the front, somebody's on the side, somebody's in the behind, somebody's open the door, close the door. You see all of that good stuff. That's what you see. You might even say, somebody move out, excuse me, get out of the way. Yeah, yeah, no pictures, no photos, all that good stuff. That's stupid. What that means is the person that you see in that video did not know how to do his job or her job. Because when we go places with high profile people, people don't know when we coming and people don't know when we going. When they see us, they're like, hey, what's that? By the time they figure out who we are or who we're with, we're already gone. They don't even have time to get their phones out. So this is the problem. This is the difference between executive protection agents and people who play executive protection agents and put bodyguards on all that stuff on their profile. And I say bodyguard, I clearly know what the word is. Executive protection is the professional word, but everybody's not a security person. So when I be talking to people, they say, "Oh, I could be on the train. Hey, what do you do?" I say, "I'm executive protection." I go, "Oh, okay. I wonder what that is." So instead of me going through that, I just say, I'm just saying I'm a bodyguard, and they get that right off. Oh, cool. Whitney Houston, yeah. Then you got a conversation. Let me see what Ace Development Group said. Why you throwing my boy Byron Rogers under the bus with the rifle picks? What you think about his network? Never worked with him, but he seems professional. Well, I mean, that's his way. I didn't say his name. You did. Um, I never worked with them before. I don't even talk about other people outright. I can state my position on what I know is right, what I know is wrong, what I know is realistic. I don't know the brother. I don't know if he seems professional or not. I really don't even care, because especially what I found out, and I don't know if you're black, white, green, or yellow. What I found out about black people in this industry, black people eat black people. Period. There is no cohesion, and there's we it's really the literal crab in the barrel. One person's getting out, one person thinks somebody else is better than the next person, and then they try to bring them down. So I don't have nothing to say about Byron Rogers. If that's the summation you got, that I'm talking about Byron Rogers, so be it. But I have seen Byron Rogers with rifles and suits on in the urban city. He's the only person in the entire world, no matter where I've been, no matter what country, and I've been to a lot of them. He's the only person I've seen with a suit and a rifle on. So I don't even know. I don't know what he does. I think he does more marketing, social media marketing, and advertising than he does executive protection work. But again, I don't know. I'm not in any cliques. I don't go to any of these associations. Okay, I don't go to any of these associations. They have like these bodyguard association and Facebook groups and all of that stuff, and you can go sign in there and all that, but they're not give you the opportunity. Those things are so clicked up. And somebody got mad at me for something I said a couple of weeks ago, and I went and clearly said, "No, I said what the fuck I said. Excuse my language. I said what I said. I'm not scared of none of y'all." And so like, oh yeah, we don't like his YouTube channel and we don't like this about him. And one dude said, I never did like you. You be posting all of that stuff. I said, well, first of all, I think it's, some girl type stuff for another man that he doesn't even know to go online and say he don't like another man. You never met me. You don't know anything about me. And if you're mad about the content that I post on my YouTube channel, and y'all want to boycott it, and you don't watch my stuff, then you are part of the problem, because everything that I post on my social media content has a purpose. And if you look at anything on there, you're gonna find the mistakes. I don't even have to find them. I mean, if I narrate them now, I narrate enough of them. You could just start watching videos and I don't have to say nothing. You can say, "Yep, yeah, see, I see. He got his back turned. I see he did this." You can see all of the problems without me saying anything. And what I'm doing is educating the population, the security population, the security community, and the people who are aspiring and want to be in the security community or profession, the right way to do things. I'm not trying to ridicule any of these people. A lot of these people, a lot of these things, there are people being assassinated. There are people being assassinated every day, or attempted assassination. Corporate executives, politicians. Hell, Donald Trump 2 times in less than 6 months. Well, less than 3 months, 2 months or whatever. The president of the United States is unprecedented. Last assassination we tipped with JFK, and then I think they tried to kill Bush a couple of times or some threats and stuff like that. But this is the United States, for Christ's sake. And we are not prima donnas in the security profession where we can't say, okay, this is a problem and we need to talk about it. Well, somebody says, oh, yeah, he's talking about this, he's talking about that. Basically, what they're mad at is that I know more shit than they know. I've had people to invite me to these panels to write these standards and stuff. They go, yeah, you've been working in the industry for a long time, and we want to, once you get on, maybe come help write these standards. I said, no, y'all don't want me to come write no damn standards. What y'all want to know is what I know, who I know, and how I know it. Right? So when they started talking this crazy stuff on Facebook about they're going to boycott me and they're going to make sure that I don't, blackball, blacklist. Man, I've been doing this shit for 30 years and I don't know none of you motherfuckers. Excuse my language. I don't know none of y'all. And I've made it to the pinnacle of what I do, hands down. Can't nobody say that they've done. I'm probably the most important black man in history in the private security industry who does executive protection work. And not only that, I help more people break into this industry than anybody. And when I break people into the industry, it's like breaking a record. I'm not saying, okay, come on, work at this nightclub. Hey, come work with this D-list celebrity or even an A-list celebrity, because all of these people who are running behind these A-list celebrities, they're not even doing it for the money. I'm gonna be honest with you. What they're doing it for is the clout. Hey, look at me. Look at me with Rick Ross. Look at me look me with Drake, or look at what this person and that is. These people don't care. These people, if you could, the Diddy trial. I was at the Diddy trial. I talk about that all the time. These are low life flipping people, man. Diddy's a drug addict, sexual deviant drug addict, and these are the people I'm in the picture. And the picture means more than the money. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm Diddy's bodyguard. Oh, I'm this and that. Now I can tell you, when I was in I'm gonna answer that question in a second. When I was at the Diddy trial, there were some celebrities that came through there, but this one particular person, nice guy, hands down. Him and I was talking about a particular client that he worked for, and he said, man, I want to come work with you. And I was like, well, you got to go through some training, my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like you. You a good dude and everything, but you ain't been through no training. He's like, yeah, man, because I got to get out of this stuff. And I said, well, all right, well, why? He's like, man, they ain't paying no money. So I'm like, okay, well, what's no money? He says, well, they pay me 250 for the day. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. He said, and he said, and that's on. I said, you on? He said, yeah. And I said, well, how many hours you work? He said, it depends. Sometimes I work 18 hours, 20 hours. I said, damn, for $250? Man, that is insane. Now, there have been times I made $250 an hour. I just submitted an invoice to go overseas for $3,500 a day. And I'm like, and most of my days be 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes it's 16, sometimes 18, sometimes it's 20. But most of my days be 8 to 10 hours. And sometimes I pick up my client and be like, okay, I just want to go to the hotel. Drop me off. I got some work to do. I'm going to the hotel, and we may go out to dinner around 9 or 10. If we so, we'll text you. So I'm saying, okay, cool. I'll just go and do whatever I do. I stay close to the hotel. If they say, okay, we just decided to order room service, then I had my whole day. But they don't say, okay, well, you only work 4 hours, so we only gonna pay you XYZ. They pay me my whole money. And I charge them per diem. And I got good clients. When you got good clients, you can charge them per diem and they still take you out to eat. They go out to eat. You want something, just order, and you order the food and you still get your per diem money in your pocket. So to hear this guy saying that he worked with a celebrity and make $250 a day, do the math on that. I think I did the math the other day. It was like $13.38 an hour to protect millionaires with bad egos and bad habits. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to answer this question the Ace Development Group says. And Ace, I want to know where you from too, man. Tell us a little about yourself. Why is it that I've seen high-end security firms advertising hostage rescue team? What does that even mean? Are they doing operations separate to LE? Does it? Yeah. So there are some groups, right? That's something I wouldn't even advertise. I told a guy the other day, I said, you got too much shit on your website, right? It's like you ever been into a restaurant and you never been to the restaurant before, but they got like 10 pages in the menu and everything. It's like 400 things on each page. You don't know what to order, right? So I said, but they have some top selling items. If they streamline their menu and okay, so okay, just these things, they would sell more product. And the rest of the stuff is just wasted ingredients. It probably go to waste. So for any restaurant, I would tell them streamline your menu. You don't need 1,000 things on your menu. Same thing if you're in a security firm. You don't need to do construction security, retail security, apartment building security, event security, private investigations, fire watch. People got 30, 40, 50 things on there. And I say, oh, that's cool that you have it on there and you want it, put it on there just in case somebody's coming to your town and they're looking for that particular thing. But be honest with yourself, at the end of the day, how often are you selling that service? And you can look at your line items at the end of the year. You know how much guard service you saw, how much retail, how much executive protection, how much event security, how much fire watch. And if the lower ones where you ain't really making no money, they call a couple of times a year for private investigations. Take that shit off your website, man. You wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So you need to streamline your services. Do things. If you're doing executive protection, then you want to do security consultant. That aligns with it. You might want to do estate security. That aligns with executive protection. You can have private investigation because a private investigation is a big part of executive protection. Sometimes I do background checks on my clients' employees. Sometimes they may have a stalker or a threat that comes in via email or Facebook or social media. And so we have resources to go look up that information. They may say, I've seen this car following me. We get the tag number. We investigate that. We investigate a lot. So that falls in the line with executive protection. Here's another thing. So many people want to walk in front, behind, or beside some people. There's so many shapes and forms of executive protection that you can excel at and be great at. Some of it is intelligence, open source intelligence, OSINT. That's what they call open source intelligence. That's one. Electronic surveillance. That's another one. TSCM. That's called technical security countermeasures. That's another part of it. We said investigations, electronic surveillance, open source information, K9, security chauffeur, close protection, advanced team, we gotta on all our people are stop the bleed first aid CPR certified, but you might even have a TECC, a person is a technical emergency critical care. You may have somebody that's a paramedic, somebody assigned to that. That's their roles and responsibility. You may have somebody that's doing intelligence for when you're traveling overseas. You can even work in executive protection and be a pilot. for private jet. There's so many things that you can do, and the things that people aspire to do, those are things that sometimes pay the least money, and that's walking in front, beside, or behind somebody. And no matter if you're standing, most of my details, if you're standing in halls and the walls, and I tell you this is the client's room, I don't want nobody to come in, I don't want nobody to come out, and me and this person, this is the driver, this is the advanced person, this is a close protection person, and I'm in the detail leader. No matter what where you fall at on that assignment, you all get the same flipping money. Period. So people don't like to stand in the halls and walls because it's not sexy. People like to be front and center stage so they can feel like they're doing something. But it's a teamwork. It's teamwork, and it all plays an important part. And I actually kicked the dude off of detail because he was a young dude, and I put him on halls and walls, and he got mad with somebody that was newer to the team. Both of them were new on the detail on the team. So for me, I'm testing people out to see what they're made of. So take the young bull off the EP team and the close protection team and put him on the halls and walls. This dude lost his shit. I'm telling you, man. I'm in the middle of the detail. Somebody called me and told me something. I say, send his ass home. I called my client. I said, how soon can you get me a ticket for this guy right here? Now, normally I could have just kicked him off the detail and let him figure out his own way home. But I'm a professional. I'm a gentleman. I'm a scholar. He didn't do so bad that I would have done that to him, but he breached the trust of the team. And we're cohesion. And when there started to be talk about the other teammates and what he didn't like and with the things that I was hearing, I sent his ass home. Because if you don't like this person, fine and cool. But at the end of the day, if you don't like somebody, you're not willing to step in front of a bullet for them. And listen, that's what this is about. When you sign up for executive protection, you have to be willing to step in from front of a bullet for your client or your teammate. Period. And if you're talking about them, you're definitely not going to do that. And if you're talking about them, you're not a team player, and you can't be a part of our team. So one of the things in my thing, I am the constant leader. I don't take no bullshit, and I don't have friends. Don't come in here trying to be my bro. Don't try to kind of be my dog. None of that stuff. I ain't with none of that. Now, if I like you, you gonna know that I like you. I'm gonna treat you right. I'm gonna make sure that you have room and board, that you eat every day, that your pay is right. But at the end of the day, my name ain't Mel either. My name is Mr. Key when you're working with me because my name is on the bottom of your check. We don't do check no more, but we do ACH and direct deposit. But my name is on your check, so this ain't no friendship. We can become friends as we develop the relationship, but that's over time. I think people use friend and bruh and sis like they use the word love too lightly. These things, I got, bro, you're not my bro. I got three brothers and you're not one of them. And we all grew up in the same house. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't come in here talking to me, talking this bro stuff, because that's not professional. I'm looking for a professional. And what I find out a lot, especially on social media, if you look like me, um, the people they approach differently. Hey, bro, man, it was hockey. I would love to get down on your team. How can I get on and stuff like that? No, first of all, you don't. Not only do you not respect me, you don't respect the game. You just asked me for a job and call me dog and bruh in the same breath. Now I said if I was a Caucasian man, would they have done that? Or would I have been Mr. Smith, Mr. Key, Mr. Jones? And that's a problem, but that's a part of education. But here's another problem. When you start to separate yourself, and I've been in this game for 30 years, so of course we ain't bros, we ain't dogs, we ain't friends. Like Eddie Murphy said in Trading Places with Nick Nolte. We ain't, was Nick Nolte told Eddie Murphy, we not partners, we not brothers, and we not friends. Period. It's just don't work like that because we look alike. It don't work like that. So when I when you come in here and these things, you got to be professional. And a lot of you guys are hanging around on TikTok, and I got a TikTok and Instagram, and y'all posting all of this stuff. If you come to Chicago, the Executive Protection Service, you need this. Listen, there's nobody on Instagram or TikTok looking for the service you provide. The people who look for executive protection service are on Google and LinkedIn. They're on Google and LinkedIn. They're Googling executive protection services in Chicago. They not coming to Instagram and say, "Oh, let me just see who I can find," and they find somebody with a, a vest carrier with 32 hand grenades and a rifle and a pistol and a flamethrower on there, and it says executive protection on their title. That's not what they're looking for. They're on LinkedIn, where is your running resume, where it shows your training, your company that you work for, your years in service, what certifications you have. You know, understand what I'm saying? Some past history, some professional picture, not not a headshot with you and your boys, but I mean the pictures with you and your boys, or a blurry picture is a clean headshot with a suit and tie on, where people see you as a professional, and then they start reading through what you do, and then okay, he got this and that or she got this and that certification. Let me reach out to that person. But if you think they're gonna slide past your Instagram and TikTok page, you're right. They're gonna keep on sliding. They're not looking for that stuff on Instagram and TikTok. And you guys need, if you're in this industry, you need to start saying, how do I develop? How do I grow as an executive protection professional? Right? Instead of waiting for looking for somebody to give you an alley oop, a layup. People want muscles but don't go to the gym. You understand what I'm saying? People want to get the championship. Hey, let's sign me up with the winning team. This is my helmet. Put number 82 on my jersey. I'm taking it to the house. I want the trophy. I want the ring. I want the status. But nobody even shows up for practice, training camp. You don't read no books. You don't study. I got people say, "Yeah, man, they put me on. I've been 18 years. I work with such and such and such and such." And I said, "Listen, I got clients. I got clients. I can tell you, I got clients that wouldn't even know who the hell these people are." And we're talking about A-list celebrities. But I got clients that they don't watch TV. They don't listen to hip hop music or R&B music. They don't know who these people are. So when I tell them, when they say, "Hey, we need an extra guy," I say, "Oh, let me get the guy. Well, you say he worked with Drake and Rick Ross. Let me get him because he'll be a good guy." No, it don't work like that, because clients say, "Send me your bio. Send me your guy's bio," and they want a picture. They want a picture, and they want your certifications, all of that stuff in the thing that they can look at. And a lot of times they was, nope, not this guy. Well, they don't do it for me because I don't present anybody who's not qualified. And why be in a business for 18 years and you made it 18 years without security and you think you're good at it? You've been lucky for 18 years. And you ought to be ashamed of your damn self for going 18 years and not thinking that you need to invest in some type of training to enhance or improve your career or your status. Not only does the training improve your job opportunities, but it improves your chances of yourself going home, your teammates going home, and your clients going home. And y'all need to stop playing games out here like you can't get hurt or you can't be touched. That's what needs to happen. You gotta go to the gym. You gotta go to the gym if you want 21-inch guns and a big chest. You got to go to the gun range if you want to shoot as a marksman. You got to go to the executive protection school if you want to move with the high level clients. Yeah, of course, somebody might put you on a detail. Let's get Bungie in here. Somebody might fly you in every now and then. You get to do a detail, but that's not long lived. What's up, BA?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. My man jumped in. So listen, I was going off on the tangent. Todd Mosley said I'm preaching. Thanks, Todd. Listen, Todd, I just try to give it. I try to give it to 100. Todd, everybody don't want to hear this. Everybody don't want to hear it, but they need to hear it. And if they step their game up, their opportunities would improve. And it'd be something that's simple. Somebody got mad at me for telling the guy with cornrows he needed to cut his hair. I'm like, listen, dog, I understand. I understand the culture and all of that stuff. I understand that you want to look like that and you whatever you may. But if you want to work with rappers and entertainers, fine. You're gonna get away with that. I'm gonna tell you this. When you go to the corporate side, when they start saying see me this bio, I don't know who's on here, black and white. They can say that's the N-word stuff right there. We don't want that. That's some ghetto N-word stuff. And it could be cultural, it could be religious for you, but they don't see it like that. They see you as unpolished, and some hoodlum shit that they don't want to be involved with. They rather see a guy with no tattoos, no head dreadlocks and cornrows in their hair. I see guys show up on details with earrings in their hair, all kind of jewelry and necklaces and shit on. Nobody want to see that. And they piece people they're willing to pay good money if it's good money. They have something to pay good money for. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Let me look through some of these comments, and I'm gonna get Bungie on here real quick. Yeah, the ego needs to go to the side, and yeah, I'm gonna go back and read those questions. Then you asked about this guy. He asked about high risk. So yeah, there are people. Well, we'll talk about specialties in executive protection work. So there are people, and I could put that. That's I think I went off on a tangent, but I could put a hostage negotiation or rescue on there. There's a good movie that you need to watch. I think it might be on Netflix or Hulu, but just look it up. It may even be on Amazon Prime. It's called the um, the kidnapping of Mr. Heineken. It's a true story. The era of the Heineken beer industry, he was kidnapped, and there was a story how these people set up on a house and they watched him, and when he came out of the house, something happened with the driver. I don't know if they shot the driver or whatever, but they kidnapped Mr. Heineken, the Heineken beer person. You guys got to watch this, and then you can start to see what executive protection agents do. Our work is done before we even show up. All of it is planning, research, route planning, advanced risk assessment, threat assessment. That's what we do. So when we show up, we just walk in the door, look pretty, right? You will never see me in a video where I walk up and there 400 people outside and I'm fighting through a crowd, or 20 people or 30 people, because Bungie, that's on the other side of the screen, he's already done the advanced work, and he's like, hey, listen, dog, we can't come here. It's like 300 people out here. Let's use the other interest or the other drop-off point or pickup point that we decided. Again, like I said, when we go in and out of doors, people are like, hey, by the time they realize who we are and who we're with, we're already gone. You're a ghost, you're a shadow, none of that stuff. So you shouldn't be fighting through nothing, telling people that they can't take pictures or autographs. And if you do it the correct way, I'm talking to, let it be Rihanna, Beyonce, whatever. I'm saying, hey, listen, we're going here. Do you want pictures today? You feel like it? Do you want autographs? Yes or no? They say yes or no. I said, all right, cool. When we go out the door, we all take up our positions, and I just kindly telling people, hold on. Now she's gonna take pictures, but we need to do this orally. I need y'all to back up. You back up. We're gonna take pictures one at a time. We only got time for 5 pictures, and after that, we gotta go because she has to be somewhere at 11:30. People respect that. They try to get the pictures, but no, not like they trying to run in. You see so many videos of people trying to run in and take selfies and pictures and run through the security. These people are even running through the security. They don't respect the security at all. And when you look at some of the security, I got some videos I'm gonna probably post tomorrow or later on tonight. You look at these things, you can see why people decided I'm gonna go ahead and try to run through the security, because they're not aware, they're not attentive, they're not in any type of formation, no communication or coordination. And the people say, I could try them. And if they could try you for a selfie, they could try you for a selfie. They could try you to put a bullet in your principal's head. So just think about that. So as far as the high-end, so there are companies that do high-end hostage negotiation, and there are people a lot of times that go overseas. There's a big kidnapping thing, so you should have kidnapping and ransom insurance. Trying to, you as an executive protection agent, or especially a team leader, detail leader, or whatever you want to call yourself. Everybody has so many acronyms, they get their panties up in a bunch about. But whoever you are in that detail, you need to be aware that these things could happen. You also need to have resources that you can bring in just in case you're not with your clients. Some clients, I got clients that walk around in New York City by themselves. They love me, but they live there. And so when I'm not with them and they're off duty, they this is where they live. They walk down in Tribeca, they walk down in Chelsea, they walk down in Midtown, and they walk around and they shop and they go to the restaurants and stuff like that. So they don't really need me. You understand what I'm saying? But and a lot of them think that people don't know who they are, but people know who they are. Brian Thompson didn't know. This is the United Healthcare CEO. He did not think that people knew who he was until somebody walked up, did their homework, showed up an hour early before he did, and when he was walking into the building, put 3 bullet holes in his ass. Excuse my language. But that's what this amounts to, and that doesn't happen to people who are professionals. And as a professional, you have to be able to sell this to your client, and not for them to see this is for you to get some money, but this is for their own safety. So anyway, I want to introduce you to my man Bungie Adams out in California. We met Bungie online about, has it been 2 or 3 years now, Bungie?
August of 23.
August of 23. We met Bungie online. This is the power of social media, and that's why Instagram and TikTok does have its advantages if you use it correctly. And then Bungie can just tell you a little bit about Bungie can just tell you a little bit about how we met, and what we do now, and our relationship. Or you can talk about whatever you want, but without further ado, I'm stepping back, and Bungie, you got the floor.
All right, I have a few minutes. I'm actually at work, but I was able to step out. So as Mr. Key said, I'm Bungie Adams, retired Air Force, presidential security at the Pentagon for chiefs of staff, um, 4 tours in the Middle East, here in California. Like you said, I met him August of 23 on a live. I asked a question, and it's been to the moon since then. I can't even tell you how many details I've been on with Mr. Key since then. Went to his school in Miami in November of 23, and it's just been uphill, and traveling with him, ever since. Um, I work at a comedy club where I'm at right now, part time. Work part time for a couple of other companies, but the other companies already know when Mr. Key calls, even if I'm on schedule, I gotta get on the plane and leave. Um, a man of integrity. Whatever he says he's going to do, he does it. I know there's a lot of hate out there, but hey, I'm living proof that you know. Some people are jealous. I'll just put it to you like that. I'm not going to go into detail about anything, but some people are just jealous. If you're good at what you do and you have the confidence to put it out there, then you know I mean, it is what it is. Um, if you want to get into executive protection, then you got to invest in yourself. Be a person of good character, good morals, um, and you can go as far as you want to in this industry. Just connect yourself and connect yourself with the right people. Be around the network, um, and get as much training in as you can. The more training you get, then the more marketable, and then the better you look when you try to apply for different companies or network with the right people.
Yeah. No, I think that is solid advice, and like you said, we met online, and um, you know, it was a crazy story. We had to go into it a little bit later, but he started on Halls and Walls, and every time I put him on that hall, we came back. He was Johnny on the spot on Halls and Walls. He didn't complain. He drove from a long way. Did we put you up at the hotel, or did you drive back every night? We put you in the hotel, right?
No, yeah, you
In
put me in
San
a hotel.
Francisco. Yeah.
Yes,
And then it was that, man. It's just like character for me. I always say that I'd rather have character over skill. I would guy, but I'd be green, still had a wrapping paper on him with great character, because character you can live with, but you can't train that, but you can train skill. So you got an unskilled person with character. That's the person that you want to work with. So the people who can do all the high flying, high thrill stuff, that's cool and all, but you ain't getting nowhere, because a lot of times those people also have a high ego and they clash with the team chemistry. And we got a great team chemistry here, don't we?
yes. And then one thing too, everybody thinks oh, bodyguard or executive protection, however you want to label it. You know, regardless of what position you have on the team, your position is just that much more important than the next person. Halls and walls. I got to stand on a door in a hallway. This, that, and the third. I mean, it is what it is. You're keeping anything that shouldn't get into the classroom out of the classroom while they're out. Oh, everybody wants to be the close protection because a lot of people want to be seen. A lot of people know what I do, but then again, a lot of people don't know what I do. Some people, like to be seen and heard or whatever. Honestly, I like to kind of be in the cut in the background, out of sight, out of mind. Like they say, like the gray man. I'm there, but then again, I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, when I was told that I was going to do halls and walls, I already knew it was a test. You know, and I passed it with flying colors because I knew that's what came with the job. You're not going to always be on the mobile team. You're not going to always be the driver. You're not going to always be the advanced person. There might be times where when we were in New Orleans, I was switching out with halls and walls, you know, and I had no problem with it because, I mean, every position on the team is that much more important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that now but you've blended into the teams well, and just in 2023, we not I mean it hasn't even been 2 years, right? And in 2023 now, Bungie leads EP details. He's a team leader on details. He flies across the different places in the country. He's a trusted close protection agent on the teams. And one of the first, again, I say one of the first people I called. Matter of fact, did you get a text from me today?
I sure did.
What was the text about?
About flying out
Yeah, when?
next weekend.
Yeah, next week, right? So
Next week.
and and when you lock in with somebody and you have those skills, you have a character and then the skills on top of that, and you then begin to build the chemistry, you go a long way in this industry. And like I said, he's on the top of the list. The other two people that are on the top of the list, I emailed them. I mean, text them all in the same group text. Hey, this is what it is. It's again, I got a call from the client, and sometimes it's for me. I've been home for a little while now, and I'm happy. And I told people I was like, I'm down almost $1 million this year because when the economy got slow, people are really tight with their money. Even corporations, they're looking at how they're spending their money right now. So we haven't made the money that we normally make this year, but there are times when that I come home and drop my bags off, and as soon as I unload them into the dirty clothes, I'm putting new stuff in that bag, and I could be going in 3 or 4 days, 2 days. Last year I traveled 256 days. The year before I traveled 238. So a lot of this year, I spent a lot of time at home for a couple of weeks straight, but I think for a month straight, I've been so flipping happy, man. I cut my grass. I cut the trees down. My wife said, "Why are you doing that to the trees?" I said, "Because I don't like them, right?" So I was like, "They look nice to me." I said, "Yeah, because you don't have to cut them." You know what I'm saying? But I grow the tree go 20 feet tall, and I'm cutting that damn tree down. So cut the trees down, cut the shrubs, walk the dogs. I work so much. I can go. I could travel and go to a place, and by the time I get there, it's late. So my room could be right next to the gym, and I get in so late, I'm too tired to go to the gym. Then I get up early, and then I go to work, and then when I come back, I just want to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So for 2 years straight, I haven't been to the gym. I don't run, don't walk, none of that stuff, and so I'm like neglecting myself, neglecting my home, not spending time with my wife, not spending time with my family, not spending time with myself. I'm like, okay, I really like being home. I enjoy being home. That's why y'all start to see much more content from me now because I've been home for a little while. So I'm making me some content, you know. So
Right.
that's the other part of the work life balance. You had to have that budget. I know you got to go back to work. You want to say something else?
Yeah. So I'm gonna to Mr. Mosley. I'm located in Northern California, the Valley, not far from the Bay Area.
And guys, too, I'm gonna drop. Well, I already have your stuff, or we could just you could drop it in the comments. Listen, your network is your net worth. I say, man, get to know people. Start it like we have a Discord. The Discord is free. I be telling every people, every live, jump on the Discord. Get in that Discord and get to move around and know people and budget. I don't know. I'm gonna make you a moderator in there too because we need to get that going. The Discord could be just like six. It could be a lot better, but we need more. I don't even know what that is. we need more people to move and shake the tree, to get things done.
Mhm.
Because ultimately, I create these podcasts, these YouTube channels, these Discords stuff. Now for me, there are a lot of people who can make money. I can make money off of this stuff, and I do make money off some of my content, well, a lot of my content. But nonetheless, I don't do it necessarily to make money. I do it so that you can find the stuff, connect with the people, get the education, so that you can make money. That's the real big part of it. So get in that Discord. I'll put the Discord on. I'll drop it in the comments. Make sure you guys go join. If y'all like this, what I'm saying, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. Consider becoming a member of the channel, because I am doing this for you, and I have so much more to offer you guys. And I want to connect you with people like Bungie. I want to connect you with my friend Aim. I didn't even know I met Aim, another social guy on social media. Aim is we started talking. He flies private jets, right? But he was a B-1 bomber pilot. And I'm like, man, he just found me on social media, and then we connect. Now we're working on international opportunities, putting people through training, and then putting you as armed agents on private jets. So anyway, that's that. But Bungie, did you finish what you were saying?
Yeah. So let me see. Todd said he's in San Francisco. Hey, connect with me on IG. My IG is the letter B as in Bravo, the letter A as in Alpha underscore. I am the right hand. RIGHTHAND. BA underscore. I am the right hand. I do work out in the Bay from time to time. I'm in Pleasanton right now, at a comedy club where I work part time. So, yeah, anybody want to connect with me on I don't. I only have one post. I know I got to do better with posting, but you can DM me. I will I will respond. I'm really not a social media dude, but I know it helps out, especially in this industry. So I'll get around to doing some posts.
You know what's funny, man? Everybody that's in our squad, I met every last one of you guys on social media.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, real quick before I get off, I had social media, I had IG. Then people were following me, and I was like, man, this is too much. And I didn't make any posts, and then I got off of it, and then like just before I met you, I started it up again, and then because I've been watching your content on YouTube, and then you asked me to come on the live, and I almost peed on myself. I was like, man, why is he invite me on live? Just answer the question. But I'm glad I did, and I mean I've been traveling. I made all my money back in the first by the first, well actually by the third detail. I made all my money back, so you can't go wrong. I'm living proof.
Yeah, man. And there's so much more for you, man. And him, Budgie and I are about the same age, but so much more for him. He really breaking in, and I'm trying to break out. But you guys who are coming behind us, you're the next generation, and this is going to be one of you guys' leaders. I put his Instagram on there, so you can make sure that you follow him and connect with him. Um, but Bunch, I know you got to go, man. I love you. I always appreciate what you do for the company, what you do for me, the support and love that you show me. It will never be forgotten and always be remembered. And you have a very special place in my house, in my heart. And I emailed that client, and I'm telling them they have to work on the weekend, because when they come back, it's the second, and we still got to get flights and hotels and all of that stuff in play, and still the operations plan and pull the team together. So hopefully,
Okay.
they respond back to tomorrow morning. I'll have an answer for you, and I'll start looking for flights for you tonight, and then I'll send you some options.
Okay,
All
sounds
right,
good. Yeah,
all right. Be safe.
I'm already my stuff is hanging in the closet. All I gotta do is throw it in the bag.
My man, that's why I
Yes,
love you,
sir.
man.
Love you too.
All right, be good, bro.
All right.
All right,
Hey, everybody, have a good night.
all right.
All right.
All right, so Supernova, I want to give you. I don't understand your question. Todd Mosley asked him why black. What do you mean by that? Help me to understand, and then I can I don't know. It's like a half loaded question, so I don't know how to answer it, because I don't know what you mean by it. Um, Not Todd Mosley, Hyper Nova X. He said something about you, Todd. He said, Todd, you ask him. Why don't you ask him, or something like that? you at Tommy's. Todd, ask him why black. I don't. He said, yeah, Todd Mosley. Ask him why black. That's Supernova X, whoever he is, and I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, listen, guys. Just like Bungie, he's a great guy. Um, it, I always ask it here, if you have any questions, ask. So people sit here and they just watch the channel and they watch me talk for an hour, and I can keep on talking. I got 30 years of talking about the executive protection industry that I can talk about. I can talk forever. But and I also have an additional 18 years of law enforcement in Washington, D.C., where I retired as a Washington, D.C. police captain at the age of 35, after being promoted to police captain at the age of 29. I was the youngest police captain ever in the history of the Washington, D.C. Police Department. If they wrote a book, they couldn't write a book without putting my name in it. I was also the youngest sergeant and lieutenant. And I could have been captain at the age of 27, but long story short, that I don't even want to get into, but it was a lot of nepotism, cronyism, racism, and a whole lot of other stuff that went into me not getting promoted when I was 27. But I ran a police district with 450 people in there. I ran a riot control unit. We call it the civil disturbance unit.